Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another meal prep video. In today's video for breakfast prep, I'm going to be doing a new recipe. This is a recipe I found from Emily Bites. It is Tater Tot breakfast casserole. And then for lunch prep, I'm just doing a very simple turkey tenderloin that I'm going to be cooking in the Instant Pot. And then I'm going to be pairing that with some roasted potatoes and vegetables. I have 3 dinner kits to put together this week. And then for snacks, I really don't have any prepping to do for snacks. So if you want to see how I pull this all together for my husband and I for the week, then stay with me. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kristi and I'm Planning Us Healthy. If you're new here, like I said, my name is Kristi. I'm currently following the WW Blue program, but on my channel I do provide the points for all 3 programs, and I also share calories as well, and I'd love for you to be part of our family by hitting the subscribe button. I normally meal prep for my husband and I for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday we usually do something different, or if something comes up on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday and we need to bump one of those days, then we can. But with today's breakfast, this one makes enough for 8, so I'm actually going to be prepping this for Monday through Thursday for us. Also, if you're new to meal prepping, it doesn't have to be anything big like this. You can do very simple meal preps for the week. In fact, last week I did a meal prep that was extremely simple. I took some frozen chicken breast strips and some frozen vegetables and literally dumped them into meal prep containers. And that was it. So if you're just starting out and you want to see a simple prep like that, feel free to check out last week's meal prep. I will link it down in the description box below as well. And finally, all the recipes that I share will be listed down in the description box below, with the exception of the lunch, because there's really not a recipe for that one. And also any of the items that I use, like my Instant Pot, my scale, my measuring spoons, anything like that, I try to list direct links to Amazon down in the description box as well. So now that we have all that out of the way, let's get started with meal prep. All right, for breakfast prep, like I said, I'm going to be doing Tater Tot breakfast casserole. This is a recipe I found off of Emily Bites. For this one, the points are 6 points on blue and purple and 10 points on green. And then the calories are 385 calories. However, if you're on green, you could definitely lower the points by using egg substitute if you want to do that. Okay, so here are all the ingredients that are needed for this. So for this recipe, we need 20 ounces of tater tots. This is a 32-ounce bag, so I'll take some of them out. We need 1 pound of lean ground turkey breast, so make sure it's the 99% lean. We also need 1.5 teaspoons of salt divided. So in here I have 3/4 of a teaspoon, and then I have the other 3/4 of a teaspoon mixed in with the rest of the spices. So in here it's 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper, 3/4 of a teaspoon of sage, and then 3/4 of a teaspoon of thyme, 1/4 of a teaspoon of marjoram, and then 1/4 of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and then we're also going to need another 1/4 of a teaspoon for later. We're also going to need 6 slices of center cut bacon, and I just use this kind, the Appleton Farms that I get from Aldi. And then 6 ounces of 50% reduced fat sharp cheddar cheese. She uses Cabot, which is also what I'm using. We also need 12 eggs, 1/2 cup of skim milk, and finally 1/4 cup of scallions or green onions, whatever you call them. You can leave these out if you want. We love green onions in pretty much everything. It adds so much flavor. So those are all the ingredients. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I have taken a casserole dish, 9 by 13, and I've sprayed it with some cooking spray. So she says to get the tater tots in there now, but I'm actually going to get my turkey and my bacon cooking. So I'm going to cook the meat a little bit different. She says the first thing to do is take the turkey, put it in a bowl, and mix all the spices in it good before you put it in the pan. I'm just going to put it all in the pan. I think I'll be able to mix it up pretty good right in the pan. The other thing is she has us cooking the turkey first, and then when the turkey's done, cook the bacon. I'm going to cook my bacon in my air fryer. Now, there are a lot of people who say do not cook bacon in an air fryer, it could start a fire. So I would just caution you if you do use an air fryer. So I could use my Instant Pot. My Instant Pot has an air fryer lid that goes with it, and it has an air fry button. I have my old air fryer, so this is my Sakura air fryer. So when I got my new Instant Pot, I kept this air fryer, and this is the one that I like to use for the bacon. So I have the bacon down there. We only need 6 slices, but I know once my husband smells the bacon cooking, he is gonna want some bacon. So that's why I have more than 6 slices in there. So I just put it down in the bottom of the air fryer. I have it set on 400 degrees, and it's gonna take about 10 minutes. I usually will check it halfway through just to kind of double check on it and make sure, just use some tongs and kind of move the pieces around just so that they're cooking evenly. So now I will get my turkey going. Like I said, I'm just gonna cook it in the pan and add the spices and just make sure I get it all mixed in real good. And I forgot to mention, I sprayed my skillet with some cooking spray first, and I have my burner set. Right now I have it between medium and medium high. Once it starts cooking, then I'll lower it down to medium. So while the turkey and bacon are cooking, I'm gonna get the tater tots in the casserole dish. So I'm gonna take my bowl that I'm actually gonna be mixing my eggs in, and I'm gonna just use it to weigh out 20 ounces of the tater tots. Perfect. And then we're just gonna pour those in the casserole dish and just even them out, and then set that aside. Next thing I'm gonna do is shred up my cheese, and I'm just gonna put this silicone hot pad under here so it doesn't move around on me. So this is an 8-ounce package, so I have already cut 2 ounces off because we only need 6 ounces. And I'm just gonna shred that. So now I'm gonna set that aside and check on my turkey. So that's almost done, and now I'm gonna check on my bacon. And the bacon is almost done, so I'm just gonna take my tongs and just kind of flip it around. And it has just a few minutes left on it. Okay, once the turkey breast is completely cooked through, now we're just gonna top it on the tater tots. So when you cook turkey breast, as you can see, you shouldn't really have any grease to drain out, because it's 99% fat-free. All right, so now just evenly spread it over the tater tots. And as you can see, my bacon is done. Nice and crispy. So I've got a glass bowl here that I've just lined with some paper towels so that I can get the bacon draining. And then, like I said, I'm only going to be using 6 pieces. And just try and dry it off as much as you can. I'm going to pull my 6 pieces out now because when I dry them off, it tends to crush them. So I'll just pull out the 6 pieces that I need. Actually, I want ones that are pretty crispy. Okay, so I'll set that aside because I know when my husband comes in, he's gonna ask, where's the bacon at? And then, as you can hear, I don't know if you can hear that, but when I dry the grease off it, it tends to break it up. Which is okay because we need to break it up at this point because this is going to go on top of the turkey. So if it doesn't break up all the way, you can just take your hands and pull it apart. Or if you prefer, take a knife and cut it up, whichever you want to do. If I was making this for company, I would cut it up and not use my hands. right, that is looking so good already. So now I'm gonna set that aside. Now I'm gonna put the egg mixture together. So I'm gonna crack my 12 eggs. Next, I'm gonna add in half a cup of skim milk. And then the scallions or green onion, if you're using those. The 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then at this point, you should also be adding 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. So I put all the pepper in with the turkey. It was supposed to be divided. A half a teaspoon was supposed to go in with the turkey and 1/4 of a teaspoon in here. And I put all 3/4 of a teaspoon in with the turkey, but that's fine. So I'm not gonna be adding any more pepper to this. And the other thing we need is the other 1/4 of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And then we're gonna give that a good whisk. All right, once that egg mixture is all mixed together, just set it aside. And now we're gonna add our cheese. There's no such thing as too much cheese in my world. Okay, then just take the egg mixture and just pour it right over top.
I smell bacon.
I told ya.
What?
I said I have to make extra bacon for my husband because as soon as he smells it, he's gonna want it. I'm just gonna try and even it out a little bit. And then this is going in 350-degree oven for 50 to 60 minutes. Just wanna make sure that the eggs are completely cooked by sticking you can put a toothpick in there to see if it's done. And then after it bakes for the 50 to 60 minutes, then we're gonna let it cool for about 10. All right, look how good that looks. So I had mine in for about 55 minutes. You can see the sides. I think it's definitely done. So one thing I want to mention is when you watch my videos, you see everything in an order. I have usually the breakfast prep all together, the lunch, and then the dinner kits, and then the snacks. But if you watch some of my earlier videos, I used to skip around. People ask me not to do that because some people just want a certain recipe, so that's why I do that. But when you're meal prepping, for example, on this, it had to bake for almost an hour. So what I did is did my dinner kits while that was baking. But when you watch it, you're not gonna realize that. So just keep that in mind that if you're meal prepping and you have things that need to go in the oven for a certain amount of time, while you're baking that, you can move on to something else. Now I'm gonna take my toothpick and just make sure. Oh yeah, definitely done. I think I could have taken it out at the 50-minute mark. Yeah, definitely done. So now I'm gonna let this sit for 10 minutes and then I'm gonna portion it up into the meal prep containers. So that's been cooling for about 10 minutes. So we're gonna be cutting that into 8. I think I'm gonna be able to fit these in my little Pyrex bowls. I only have 6, actually I only have 5 here. I must have 1 in the fridge. So I'm gonna also be using just these ones and I'll just put aluminum foil on these. I'm gonna be teleworking a couple days this week. So the ones with aluminum foil I'll keep for my teleworking days and then these ones I'll take to work with me. Wow, those are huge pieces. So look at what that looks like. Oh, it looks so good. So let me see if I can fit these into here. I might have to kind of break it up a little bit. No, should fit pretty good. Oh, I can't wait to have these. It looks like I got one that's cut really big. So we're gonna move some of that. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and taste this because I've never had this before and I wanna let you know how it tastes. So let me grab a fork. That is really good. That is really good. I cannot wait to have these this week. All right, so let me get the rest of these portioned out. All right, so that is it for the breakfast. I'm telling you, that tastes so good. It is definitely worth it. It does take a little bit longer than my normal breakfast preps, but with the flavor of that, I'm telling you, it's so good. So again, the way these are made with the whole eggs, these are 6 points on blue and purple and 10 points on green. But on green, if you wanted to lower the points, you could definitely use some egg substitute. And if you're counting calories, it is 385 calories. All right, for lunch prep this week, I do not have a recipe for this one because this one I'm just doing this turkey breast tenderloin and some vegetables. That's all I'm doing. I decided the vegetables I'm gonna roast. I'll show you those in a minute. So first I'm using this turkey breast tenderloin. This is Jenny O. I really like, there is one from Aldi that is a rotisserie flavor tenderloin, I believe. That one I believe is 2 points though, it's not 0. So this one here is 0 points on blue and purple, 1 point on green. And for this one, it's 90 calories. This has 24 ounces in it, so I'm gonna have, each portion is gonna be about a 4-ounce portion. And I'm going to be making this in the Instant Pot, but if you want to grill it or bake it in the oven, you can do that. And then I'm just going to do some roasted vegetables and potatoes. So I'm using these white potatoes from Aldi. These are 2 points on blue and green, 0 points on purple. And if you're counting calories, it's 60 calories for 2/3 of a cup. And then I have some green beans. So what I've done is over here, I have my trays ready to roast in the oven. My oven is preheated on 400 degrees. I have some foil down in the pans. I've sprayed the foil with cooking spray. And then on this tray, I have about 2.5 cans of those potatoes. And then over here, I have some green beans, some butternut squash, and some Brussels sprouts. So I just put some salt and pepper on those, and I also sprinkle them with some of this ranch seasoning. You can have 1.5 teaspoons of this for 0 points, so I just sprinkle some of that over there. If you want to add garlic, anything that you want to add. So I'm going to roast these in the oven, 400 degrees for probably about 30 minutes total. And then halfway through, I'll just go through and kind of stir them up, flip them over. Now, if you wanted to, you could do your turkey tenderloin in the oven as well. Usually these take about 60 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees, but I'm going to do mine in the Instant Pot. So I'm going to get these going in the oven and then start on my tenderloin. All right, so here's my turkey tenderloin. This is how it comes, just in 2 big portions like this. So I want to season it, and I was trying to figure out, I was going to do some rosemary, garlic powder, and Italian seasoning. But then I remembered I have this seasoning thing that I got from Aldi a while ago. So I think I'm just going to use the garlic, Italian, and herbs, and just sprinkle some of that on there. And if you wanted some extra flavor, you can put like some onions down in the bottom of your Instant Pot or whatever you want to add for the flavor. So now I have my Instant Pot over here. I have a trivet down in the bottom, and then I have between 1 and 1.5 cups of water down in there. So depending how big your Instant Pot is, mine is a 8 quart, so I usually put between 1 and 2 cups in there. So now I'm just going to put the turkey tenderloin right on there. Just like that. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. Then I'm gonna just add my top. So at this point, make sure you're sealed. Mine automatically does it. So now I'm just gonna hit pressure cook, and I'm gonna do this on high. Usually when I do the turkey tenderloin from Aldi, I do it for 10 minutes. This one seems like it's a little bit thicker, so I'm gonna do it for 11. You wanna make sure that your turkey is at least an internal temperature of 165 degrees. So just make sure to test yours after it's done. So that's it. That's gonna take probably about 15 minutes to come up to pressure. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let it cook for the 11 minutes, and then I'm gonna let it naturally release for 10 minutes after that before I do a quick release. All right, I just took these out and just flipped them. But I wanted to show you at this point, I take my Misto olive oil spritzer and I just spritz the top of both of them with a little bit of olive oil. And then, like I said, just mix them around and then those will go back in there. Now, how long you cook these is completely up to you. I like my vegetables really roasted, so I keep them in for about 30 minutes. But honestly, they don't need maybe but 20 minutes. So if you like them more with a crisp, then you honestly could probably stop them after like 15-20 minutes. But I like mine really roasted, so I'm gonna put mine back in. Okay, I've actually had it sitting and naturally releasing for about 15 minutes, so there is no pressure left in it. So it is done. So now I'm gonna pull it out of there and I'm gonna let it sit and rest for about 5 minutes. So now while the turkey tenderloin is resting, I'm just portioning out my potatoes and vegetables. So I have the potatoes and vegetables portioned out. Now I'm just gonna cut up my turkey tenderloin. So I'm gonna just slice this up and put about 4 ounces in each container. And just so you can see what it looks like, that is what it looks like. It is so tender and juicy. Okay, so that is what it looks like. So this, I'm not even gonna add any spray butter or butter the day that I have it. I will just put it in the microwave for probably maybe 30 seconds, stir it up a little bit, and then maybe another 15. It probably won't take more than like 45 seconds. So I'm not gonna add any butter or anything though, because since I spritzed it with the olive oil. So if you're counting points, for blue, this is 2 points. For purple, this is 0. And for green, it's 3. And then if you're counting calories, it's about 170. It's 90 for the turkey and then 60 for the potatoes and then whatever you end up having for the vegetables. So I just kind of estimated. So a very, very low calorie, low point lunch. Moving on to dinner kits, which I know some of you, this is your favorite part. Some of you, you could care less about this. So if you're new to my channel, I do DIY dinner kits. I basically just put all the ingredients into my dinner kit. That way, when I go to have it the night that we cook it, it's all ready to go and there are no leftovers. Everything's portioned out. I make enough normally for just 2 of us. So each one of these kits that I have tonight will be just enough for 2. There are some times where a recipe calls for 4 and we might have it 2 nights in a row, but for the most part, I make just enough for the 2 of us. So I use a dry erase marker on these reusable bags and it washes off real well. You cannot put these bags in the dishwasher. So I use the dry erase marker. So I'm gonna just go through and show you very quickly what I have in each bag. For these, it's not necessarily meant to show you how to make them, but just to show you how you can put your own kits together. I don't put every single thing in the bag, so like if something calls for a little bit of olive oil or something like that, I don't have that in the bag. So let me start with the crispy baked cod with cheesy potatoes and broccoli. So all I do is put everything in the bag. So in the bottom of the bag, I have some broccoli. I don't wash or peel the produce or anything at this point. I'm just portioning it and putting it in the bag. So I've already weighed everything out. I have my broccoli in there, and then I have 12 ounces of potatoes. This recipe actually calls for red potatoes, but I didn't have any. I didn't do shopping this week. I'm trying to just clean out what I have. So 12 ounces of potatoes. In here, I have about 1/4 cup of panko breadcrumbs. And then I have 3/4 of an ounce of Parmesan cheese, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and a garlic clove. The only thing I don't have for this recipe is a lemon. So I will have to see, I think I have a little bit of lemon juice in my fridge, so I'll just use that. And then I'm gonna use these cod loins that I get from Publix. These are, it just comes with 2, but if you have an Aldi near you, they have really good cod there as well. So I usually either use the Publix kind or the Aldi kind. So this just has 2 of them in it. This one I'm not making until later in the week, and honestly, any fish with the exception of the salmon, because of the fact that the salmon I make tomorrow, that I do keep out of the freezer, but this cod, I will put this back in my freezer. So I'll just have the kit ready, and then I'll pull this out the night before I make it. So that's all I'm doing for that one, but I did just want to show you what I'm using. The next one is mozzarella stuffed pork chops. This, I did change the sides on some of these from my meal plan. And the reason being is I think this one I had green beans that I was going to use on the side, but since I did green beans for lunch, I decided to do something different. So I did have a zucchini and a squash in my fridge that I need to use up because they're looking not too good. So I have a zucchini and a squash down there. And then, so I'll just roast that up. And then for the mozzarella stuffed pork chops, it's literally just a teaspoon of breadcrumbs and 1 ounce of Polly-O part skim mozzarella. And this is an air fryer recipe. It just goes in there. The only other thing is it calls for 2 4-ounce pork chops, and all I had was 2 7-ounce pork chops. So I'm just going to use these, and then my husband will probably have more than the 4 ounces, and then we may just have a little bit left over. So that one I'm doing Tuesday night, so I'll go ahead and put the pork chops in there now. And finally, I'm doing garlic parmesan salmon with rice and broccoli. I have the broccoli in the bottom of the bag. The rice that I use is just this 90-second ready rice that goes in the microwave, so I don't put that in the bag. And then in here, I have a mixture of 1/8 of a cup of Parmesan cheese, 1/8 of a cup of panko breadcrumbs, 1/8 of a cup of regular breadcrumbs, and about 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I also have a garlic clove and a tablespoon of light butter. And then my salmon goes in there. And like I said, normally for fish, I don't put that in there ahead of time, but because I'm having this tomorrow, that's why I do that, because it is frozen. The pork chops you could leave in your freezer if you wanted, but since I'm doing those Tuesday, they'll be fine. But anything later than that, I like to keep it in the freezer, keep the meat in the freezer for now. So the other thing on here is I always put the points. So if I didn't have my channel, I would just be putting the points for blue. But because I'm providing you all with the points and calories, I have everything. So this one is 7 points on blue and purple, 13 on green at 420 calories. The mozzarella pork chops are 6 points on all programs and 170 plus calories. So it's 170 for the pork chops, just the 4 ounces, and then whatever you have for your side with that. So I didn't put that on there. And then the crispy baked cod with cheesy potatoes and broccoli is for everything in the kit. So 8 blue, 5 purple, 10 green, and 460 calories. And like I said, all these recipes will be listed down in the description box below. So that is how I do my dinner kit. So like I said, very easy. 3 nights of this week, I will just come home from work, pull the kit out of my fridge, and get started cooking. For snacks this week, I didn't have anything to prep, so I just have some blueberries that were left from last week. I have a few of these mini graham cracker crusts that I've been enjoying with the pudding, and I think I still have some Ready Whip in the fridge too, so I can use those. I have some of these chocolate rice cakes. I haven't eaten those. And then I had 2 apples left in there, so I will probably mix the apples with some PB2 powder and have that as a snack throughout the week. So then I have the breakfast and the lunches and the dinner kits. So another successful meal prep. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And before I sign off, I want to say thank you. We hit 20,000 subscribers last night. I am just completely in awe. I honestly cannot believe this channel has grown so much. So I want to say thank you all very much. Without you, it wouldn't even be possible. So keep an eye out for future videos. We'll have to do something to celebrate. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe. I'll talk to you in my next video. I'm Kristi, and I'm Planning Us Healthy. Always forgetting my mic. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new, hi everyone, welcome back to, and this is Ultimate. I'm going to be doing a new recipe that I found from Emily Bites. This is Ultimate Tater. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you in my next video. Really?
Mwah! And the extra bacon would be where?
Right there.
That much extra?
Yeah. We hit 20,000. We hit 20,000, y'all! Ah!